So I've been having this thought for the past couple of days, and today I thought I would just share what's been on my mind, right? A lot of times, I feel like it's more widely spoken of on how good your life can become or how much your life can change in positive ways when you have a good woman in your life, right? But what I don't think is talked about enough, and maybe because a lot of people are not having the experience, so this is not, what they will be talking about in light of a man or a relationship. But I think that it is so life changing and monumental when you are dealing with a man that truly loves you. Um, a lot of times, unfortunately, for whatever reason, whether we want to charge it to the game, call it a stereotype, whatever, but for whatever reason, it seems that, some men find it a bit challenging to be emotionally available or to express their love or vulnerability with a woman, right, and feel safe to do so. But when a man when a man feels safe with you and a man starts to, truly give you, and I'm not even gonna say start, right? Because y'all know, I believe that you shouldn't even be in a relationship with somebody who's not giving you the equal give and take, like even if you as the woman, right, are in the same said energy that I was talking about at the start of this video, right? That you have that life changing type of love, you should definitely be with a man who is loving you, equally, even if it shows up in different ways and different love languages, but the same sense of fulfillment, right? You guys should have with and for each other, right? That should be a shared experience. Um, so when you are connected with a man who truly loves you, with a man who is mindful of you, um, and just anything, right? Like, let me do this because she likes it. Let me get this for her because she likes it. Let me show up for her in this way because she likes it. Um, those type of men are the men that get pleasure from seeing you happy and satisfied. And so many times everybody, right, men and women, we all have to work through our own insecurities and things like that, or feeling like you have to perform, in order to be worthy of love. You have to give this or that in order to be able to, receive love in this world. But when I say that, when you are dealing with a man who is not only, a lover, but is a giver and a pleaser as well too, that's the type of man that will show you why you never had to prove yourself to anybody, right? Even if you did in the past, even if that was just, your reality and what you thought was the right way to do it, right? This type of love that I am speaking of, this type of man that provides, this love that I'm speaking of, I'm telling you, honey, this person will make you realize, like, and almost in a comical way, right? When you look back at your past self or how you showed up in other relationships, it'll almost make you kind of chuckle at yourself to be like, dang, I really had, or somebody else had me thinking that I had to tap dance, jump through loops, you know what I'm saying? Be on standby, whenever they was ready for you in order to be worthy of acknowledgement, right? Even just to be worthy of the bare minimum. And for real, it'll make you like laugh at yourself to ever think that that was your reality, or that you was willing to settle for that. But even though we pull away from the toxic dynamic of, we see it now these days as a red flag when somebody says like, oh, I want you to be just like my mom or just like my dad or whatever, because it's like, nah, most of y'all is leaning towards mama and daddy issues, and I would never be your toxic mom or your toxic dad, you know what I'm saying? But even when you think about like before all of the toxic dynamics was added into that phrase, what it really means, you think about a father figure, a true father figure. This is a person that makes you feel extremely safe, safe to tell them anything, safe to, show up to them however you are, coming as you are each and every day. You feel physically protected. Like, yeah, if I was you, I wouldn't mess with me because the way my man set up, he'll smack everybody in here for the smallest for the smallest inkling of disrespect for me, right? That type of, if you ever seen like a little kid, a baby girl especially, right, with her dad, and something happens, like, and she'll run straight to her daddy crying, and when she see her daddy start defending her, she kind of looking and, had that little smirk on her face, like, yeah, I told y'all not to mess with me because okay, like that type of warm and safe love, right? Just the safe space, the space for you to turn your brain off as a woman, right? And a lot of times we speak about this love as though it is unrealistic because, true enough, most people don't love that way. They don't have that capacity. They're too scared to open their hearts, or they're on some other type of time, and love was never the mission anyway, right? But when you encounter a man, a real man that truly love you, top tier, babe. Top tier. And even too, like we say, when you find a man will say, when you find a woman that truly love you and make you want to be a better man, like, it's the same thing vice versa. Even if you already are a good woman, right? And like I said, you showing up in the equal give and take energy, but it's still just like that man clears your mind so much. They clear your energy. They clear your consciousness so much to where you don't have nothing else to focus on but being better, right? Which most of the time with a good man, their mindset is always strategically wrapped around, making sure that you have those opportunities to better yourself. You have the resources that you need to be stress free, to have nothing at all to worry about aside from what you want to eat and what you gonna wear. That's a healing type of love. And it doesn't matter, again, that so many people are conditioned to feel like love always has to be a fight, or, you got to do all this breaking up and making up and all these other things. Like, nah, as I say several different times, or have said several different times, sorry, especially for myself, y'all got that. I've been out of that whole ring of fire that y'all are in, that pool of toxicity. Baby, you either gonna show up for me and be said man that I am speaking of, or you just gonna have to leave me alone because I don't want no parts of it. But the reason why is because I know what it feels like to be deeply and truly loved, to be admired, to be worshipped, to be thought of, to be considered by a man that truly loves you. And when I say the healing that comes from that, in the smallest things, like, it don't even have to be like this person, like, oh, I'm gonna love you and take all your pain away. Like, no, just the way that that person shows up, like, you realize day by day that things that used to really hurt you, or that used to feel like a burden or a cloud over your head constantly, no matter what, you don't even notice it anymore. You know what? It really don't even matter. That's what that love be like. Now, do I believe that everybody in this world will experience that love? No, I don't believe that. Do I feel like everybody should? Absolutely. But the truth of the matter is, this is a conversation that is held between people that understand that they are worthy of this love. So many people are too scared to open themselves up for this love. They feel for whatever reason that this love does not exist, it's not a real thing, so you are just settling for whatever the hell you can get. Some people, I would even dare to say, right, that they commit themselves to a type of love that's not like this. And then at some point, God will allow them to encounter a person that does show them this example of love and will give them a choice to say, like, hey, you either gonna stay where you are and keep settling for this, constant cycle of hurt and pain and, fear, not being able to be yourself, feeling like a stranger in your own home, always feeling like you back and forth trying to play get back with the person that's supposed to be your partner, you know what I'm saying? You gonna keep settling for that, or you gonna go and align yourself for what is actually true love? What is the love that you need that will heal you, right? But it's unfortunate, right, that and that conversation in itself is a whole different thing, right? Because some people come into this world to learn karmic lessons, right? We all do, but some of us will complete the karmic lessons. We'll get to the point to where it's like, okay, we don't have to learn the hard way no more. We have taken the examples from the bruises and all of the hurt and the crying and sliding down the walls and everything else, to where now we are aligning ourselves with better. But some of you guys, you know it just is what it is. You are in this lifetime going to have to learn the hard way, because you won't leave the pain alone, because you are addicted in some sort of subconscious way to that pain, or you're correlating pain to love. And if you ain't hurting, then you ain't loving. Not me, okay? um but everybody deserves to be loved in this way, right? Everybody deserves to experience love in this way. And when you experience it, I hope, I pray that you hold on to that love, that you nurture that love, okay? The one thing I could tell you about me, babe, I love on my people. The people who are a part of my life, the people who bring peace to my world. That man that I speak of, like, I take care of my folks. And yes, I have encountered that same said person right before in many different forms, right? It's been more than one person, but I've met people who have come into my world and looked at me and been like, girl, you trying to play me, or this is too good to be true, right? And instead of receiving my love and taking care of me in the way in which they knew they were supposed to, being a blessing to my life, in the way in which I needed, and the whole reason me and this person was connected, like how they were supposed to pour into me, they ran the other direction. And I let them. I let them, honey, because again, that love that I speak of, that perfect love, right, is the love without fear. And even if you do, in your natural human form have some fears, right, even if it's connected to, like, man, in the past, the last time I found myself, opening up in this way, I feel like I got hurt, or this happened or that happened, right? You are more willing to correct that fear right in that moment, right? Nip it in the bud and be like, nope, because what I have is real. And there's not a moment, there's not a day, literally, of my life, right? Of the part of my life that I have been blessed to encounter this person who has so much love for me. There's not a day that I want to take for granted, right? People say, oh, life is too short. Okay, that's for y'all. I'm gonna live a long time. But even in my long life, there's not gonna be any day that I can look back and say that I regret how I moved, how I treated a person, how I, respected a person that showed me love. There's not a day where I can look back and be like, you know what, I wasn't grateful enough for how this person treated me. No, because I'm going to show immense and extreme gratitude in each and every moment that you are doing something that you know is worth mentioning, like, and not, let me not just say like worth mentioning, because some people feel like, oh, we got to be something grand. Like, no, you spoke life into me today, right? Because even back to that type of man, that man gonna make sure that each and every day nobody is going to have the honor of giving you more compliments than they are going to give you. Nobody else is going to come in, to your life and speak more life into you, or invest in you, or pour into you more than that person, because that person sees it as their personal duty. That man sees it as his personal duty to make sure that you feel love. So even in those small gestures, right? I'm always grateful. I'm always vocal about, how much I love and appreciate this. I appreciate that, because it makes it more enjoyable for me, right? To have the experience of whatever this man is giving me. But also it makes it enjoyable as a person that wants to love him, to know that it's healing for him to realize that his love, right, however he's showing it and expressing it to me, is being received wholeheartedly. So, yeah, I don't know why I wanted to share this with y'all, but I did. I wanted to talk about it. And I think, again, because we don't hear this conversation often. We hear about a good woman often, but the love of a good man,